Hi, I'm Kerri, and today I'm going to be sharing 15 giftable knitting patterns by lesser known designers. So, my goal here is to share designers that you may not have heard of before, and you'll find something beautiful that you're excited to knit this holiday season. So, I found all of these designers through the Indie Design Giftalong on Ravelry. It's like the 12th year that it's been running. It is like a giant year end knit along where a bunch of designers gather together to co host this giant year end knit along full of prizes, games, and gift knitting camaraderie. So if that sounds like something that you'd like to help with your gift knitting motivation, it is a great place to be. And the best part is that it all kicks off with a sale. So all of the designers are offering between 10 and 20 patterns for 25% off with the code GIFTALONG2024. And all of the patterns I'm featuring today are eligible for that coupon code. So that means you can get a little bit of a discount on all of these patterns if you're shopping during that first week of the knit along. And otherwise, I hope you get a bunch of inspiration from designers that you may not necessarily have heard of before. So I'm going to be talking about 3 categories of gift knits, and these are all things that I personally love to knit for gifts, have knit multiple for gifts before, and those are fingerless mitts, hats, and slippers. So a lot of these are pretty quick projects, usually DK or heavier weight yarn, though I do think I have a couple lighter weight ones in there that were just too pretty not to include, but they're not a huge time commitment, and that means you can, get something done pretty quickly and feel, not overwhelmed by your gift knitting commitments. In each of these categories, I'm going to be sharing 4 patterns from different designers that I think would be really fun gift knits, as well as one of my own that I think you would love to knit too. So first, we're going to be talking about fingerless mitts, and the first pattern I'm sharing are the Sea Haven Mitts by Jennifer Shiels Toland. These are a beautiful textured mitt knit up in DK weight yarn. There are 3 sizes. I was just drawn to the beautiful textures in this mitt. There are like different stripes of texture sections throughout. And you can also knit it in a fingerless mitt version or a full mitten. And I thought that versatility was really, really nice. K-weight is going to knit up super quickly, especially if you're knitting up the fingerless mitts. It's not very much yarn at all. The smallest size for the fingerless mitts require less than 100 yards of yarn. So that's something that you could knit up honestly, even in a night. Next are the Jetson mitts by Jo Shaw of Hardybarn Design. And these are fingering weight, but they were too beautiful to not include. I love the graphic impact of that modern color work. There's just such beautiful contrast, a really pretty geometric pattern. I love the reverse stockinette and stockinette stripes at the cuff that kind of create a little bit of a corrugated effect and have that, little bit of color peeking through. I think it creates beautiful texture. And honestly, just like such a clean looking mid-century kind of vibe. Maybe a little bit more of an involved project here, but really stunning. These are knit in light fingering weight yarn, and there are 3 sizes available. Next are the Orbital mitts by Lola Johnson of Third Vault Designs. And these are a classic ribbed fingerless mitt, but have a fun little traveling rib detail. So these are knit in DK weight yarn and have 2 sizes, but that ribbing means that it's going to be super stretchy and accommodate a wide range of hand sizes. And what I love about this pattern is that traveling rib detail. You have 1x1 cables that create that dynamic look. Next up, we have the striped dashers by Sandra Nesbitt of the Feminine Touch. And these are also DK weight yarn, and these are knit with a sideways construction, which makes them a little bit unique. And I love the pops of color that are incorporated through those garter stripes. So the knitting should be super easy thanks to being garter stitch worked sideways, which means I believe you'd be knitting flat and then seaming or grafting at the end to turn it into a mitt. But the color is so fun. It looks like you can knit a heart or a tree motif even, tree triangle. So there are a lot of fun options that you can play with that color. So as I said, these are DK weight yarn. There's only 1 size, but being garter stitch, that garter is going to be fairly stretchy. And I would bet you'd be able to adjust pretty easily just by knitting longer or shorter to accommodate a different hand size. Last, I wanted to share my own design, Quotidian Mitts, and I released these last year and I love this pattern so much. So I wanted to create an essential mitt pattern that you could knit in basically any weight of yarn, so you could use anything you wanted in your stash. So I've written the pattern for fingering, sport, DK, and worsted. There are instructions included for each of those. There are 4 sizes for each of the yarn weights, and you can also make a couple of modifications that are already included in the pattern. There's the regular fingerless mitt, there's a long fold over cuff, and there's also a full mitten top. And then I think I also included some recommendations for other modifications you can make, like using regular 1x1 rib instead of the twisted rib in the pattern. Then you can also flip these inside out for a bit of a different look. So yeah, it's just really fun to knit. It's really simple, but super effective and a great gift knitting pattern. Getting into hats next. First, we have the Ala Tau hat by Einar Berkembieva, and this is a stunning hat. It has beautiful embossed-like texture thanks to its twisted stitches and is just an absolute stunner. This is worked in DK weight yarn and has 3 sizes, and that twisted rib detailing is sure to wow anyone who receives this hat. Next is the knit-purl beanie by Svetlana Volkova, and this is the classic 1x1 ribbed beanie that you could knit for anyone and they would love it and wear it to death. This is worked in DK weight yarn and has 4 sizes and features a long fold over brim, so you can fold it up and get extra coziness around your ears, or you could even leave it long for a slouchy option. Next is the Aspen Glow hat by Lena Matheson, and this is the perfect canvas to showcase your variegated yarns. So if you've had a skein of variegated yarn just kind of sitting around in your stash, this is the pattern to use it in. It has a slip stitch pattern that adds really interesting texture and kind of helps to break up some of that pooling that you might see in a variegated yarn, so you can really have that yarn shine and just kind of have everything blend together super nicely. This is worked in bulky weight yarn and has a child size as well as 3 adult sizes. Next is the Seafield hat by Jennifer Shiels Toland, and this has a beautiful knit-purl texture that wraps around the hat. This uses a DK weight held with mohair for a worsted weight gauge, so you could either do DK plus mohair or you could just use a worsted weight alone, depending on the effect that you're going for. But the geometric design is super pretty and gives this hat a unique look. This has 4 sizes, a child size, and then 3 adult sizes as well. Last is my design Balsam Point hat, and this is a DK weight pattern with twisted stitches. And those are like 1x1 cables, but you don't need a cable needle to execute the twisted stitches. I've actually done a tutorial on those twisted stitches. It's super simple and really fun and effective to get that textured pattern and not have to worry about using a cable needle. There are 4 sizes, and there are instructions for a single layer brim, a folded brim, or a double layer secured to the inside brim for that extra warmth. Our last gift knitting category is slippers, and this is actually why I wanted to make this whole video in the first place. I saw this pattern that I'm about to share here, and I just thought they were so cute and I needed to share. So here we are. These are the Woodland Loafers by Claire Slade of Verily Knits, and they're the cutest knitted loafer pattern. I think that these just look so classic and so cozy. I love the little loop detail and the short row loafer shaping at the top of the foot. I think these are just so cute. These are knit in bulky weight yarn and have 5 sizes, and I'm sure are going to knit up so quickly because it's just a little tiny project. 2 little slippers with some fun shaping details. Next are the ciabatta slippers by Arella Seaton, and these are a mosaic colorwork slipper pattern. So if you're participating in the Mosaic Mayhem Knit Along by Young Folk Knits, this would be a great entry into that, and it would be a super fast project with really dynamic color pops. This is worked in Aran weight yarn and has 2 sizes. It looks like you can customize how far up that kind of divide point goes, so you can have more of a ballet slipper effect or a true slipper as well. Next is the Cozy Toesies pattern by Lisa Kemery, and these are the classic garter squishy slipper that you need to have in your life. These are super simple but super effective, and sizes from toddler to adult, so you could knit these for anyone in your family with a super quick gift. I think it's really clever that there is an encased elastic at the cuff, especially for wiggly toddler feet. I may have to knit my daughter a pair of these this year. Next are the Strawberry Rhubarb slippers by Faye Kennington of Yuki Knits, and these are absolutely beautiful. They feature a bobble technique that I have never knit anything like this, but it looks like an embroidery, but it's a bobble. So I would be super interested to see how this technique is worked, but the end result is an absolutely beautiful slipper. These are knit with fingering held double for a DK weight gauge, so it makes it great to either use up a skein of fingering weight or DK weight in a super special project and try out a new technique. There are a wide range of sizes. It doesn't specifically say what the sizes are, but they're very pretty slippers and I would love to know how those baubles are made. Last is my own design. These are wisp slippers and they feature a beautiful 1x1 textured detail all throughout that kind of has an undulating stitch pattern. They have a unique one-piece construction starting at the back heel, then you pick up around the little tab that you make, do a little bit of shaping as you work through the heel, and then you'll work flat as you work through the foot before joining in the round to work the toe area. These are worked in bulky weight yarn and have 3 sizes. I used a bulky weight plus a mohair to add a little bit of extra fluff and a bit of a color halo to enhance that stitch pattern, but you can use just a bulky weight if you don't have any mohair floating around. These are so fun and fast to make. I have plans to make another pair this year. I have had plans to make another pair for a couple of years now, but I think this year is finally going to be the year that I make it happen. I'm very excited about that because I need another pair of slippers. Yes, I still have these ones, but I have some beautiful rust colored yarn, kind of similar in color to what I'm wearing here, and I really want a pair out of that color. Thank you for following along today as I shared these 15 giftable knits. I hope you found a designer that was new to you and a pattern that you're excited about. As I said at the start, all of these designers, including me, we're all participating in the Indie Design Giftalong, and you can get 25% off of all of the patterns you saw in this video with the code Giftalong 2024 through November 27th. You can find all of the details about the Giftalong, including the Giftalong group, the code details, all of that stuff in the description. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like to continue seeing videos from me. I have a podcast that I record every couple of weeks, and I would love to have you there. You can always find me on Ravelry and Instagram as kerriknits, and I'll see you next time.